as we continue on our journey of Lent, how appropriate that we are given precisely a recipe, if you will, for our challenges, for our journey, for our seeking out in our growth, in our movement, and in our closeness to Jesus Christ. Today, it is him who speaks to his disciples and begins to spell out, obviously, what is about to happen to him. And because he knows what is about to happen to him and his disciples who are followers of him, we're reminded early on, if you want to be like me, this is what it looks like. He invites his disciples that anyone who wants to follow him ought to take up his cross and follow him, but first denying himself. Reading this morning the commentary from Bishop Barron, I love, this is not just simply a sacrifice for the sake of saying a sacrifice or self-denial for the sake of self-denial. As I said at the beginning, it is about following Jesus Christ. Where does my self-denial, where does my sacrifice lead me? Does it lead me closer to Jesus Christ, or does it lead me to a self-understanding that I'm doing something good? It always has to be something that drives us closer to Jesus Christ. And here is the thing that for me baffles me. If anyone wishes to come after me, he must deny himself and take up his cross daily. Have you ever thought about what your cross is? And no, it's not your husband or your wife. That's not the cross. What is your cross? When you're able to identify that, you have to go seek it out. You have to go get it. You must look for it. It doesn't land on our laps necessarily. We can't ignore it. And when you and I are able to locate that, when you and I go after that, we carry it knowing that it's going to lead us in the very same way that it led Jesus on his cross. A self-emptying and a full sacrifice out of love for creation, God's creation. Jesus doesn't die on a cross because he's a masochist. Jesus doesn't die on the cross because he had nothing better else to do. Jesus dies on the cross because he loved us. To seek out our cross must always interject with the very reason that Jesus carries his, out of love for someone else. If that means a self-denial, if that means compassion, if that means merciful, if that means whatever it's going to mean, my brothers and sisters, it has to be out of love. Full stop. Maybe for us today, as I said, following this recipe, these little legends on the map that is placed before us, perhaps there is where Jesus calls you and me. Lord, help me. Help me to be able to identify my cross, to actually seek it out and pick it up, and to do so for the very reason that you did yours, out of love. We're going to make mistakes along the way. You, as I, we're not perfect. But how wonderful that our intention, how wonderful that our eyes are on Jesus' cross. And there, and only there, my brothers and sisters, will we understand why Jesus does anything, why he calls us, and why he invites us. If we want to be able to follow him, we must deny ourselves. In other words, get the ego out. Follow me out of love, and take that cross for the very same reason that I did mine, because I loved you. Love one another. Amen.